Describe what your first time having sex was like. Were you mentally, physically, and emotionally ready for that experience?
Your first time usually isn't your first time on sexual encounters. By that I mean maybe foreplay, kisses, a few other things that are not exactly penetration.
So my first time was taken from me. I wasn't ready mentally or physically. I was pretty young.
I imagine maybe as other people would kind of be nervous when they're having their first times and whatnot. I didn't have any of that because it wasn't even planned. And so it was more like oh, that just happened. And then maybe reflecting on that a few days after was then when I was, it was beginning to dawn on me that, oh, that was actually the first time I was maybe beginning to kind of sink into the feeling, right? But at the time it was happening, I didn't really get much of an experience from it.
So I wouldn't say I had a first time. So the one time that seemed like it was the first time, because of course, when you compartmentalize things and you're just trying to not remember some things and you just cover it up with other realities that you make up for yourself. Yeah, that's what happened my first time.
Physically, maybe not, but I had a decent idea what sex was and I wanted it.
I wouldn't say, it wasn't like I was not ready, but then I wouldn't say I was ready. It was just something that, it seemed like the next step, I guess if you could call it, because, yeah, he was my boyfriend at the time, and yeah.
Right now I'm thinking I'm cheap, but yeah, I did it because of chocolate. She was quite older and I didn't mind, and I had to bargain for chocolate.
Do you think having an orgasm is important?
Yeah, it's pretty important. It's actually very important. I feel like you've done the other person a disservice if they do not orgasm.
That's subjective. That's subjective because sometimes there are people who are pleasers and they just want to please the other person or their partners. And there are people who just want to get their orgasms. So for me personally, I sometimes might, depending on whom the partner is, I can decide to just please or just make sure I'm pleased.
Yeah, having an orgasm is key. It's just key. Having that feeling, squirting a little bit, your toes curl. Yeah, just makes you feel good.
What does an orgasm feel like for you?
I think one of the hardest things to describe actually is an orgasm, because the words are always very compound and you try to put things together and it just doesn't come out of your mouth because you just don't know the words to say or the words to describe it with. But I think for the layman, the easiest way to define this or explain this would be to say that it's a accumulation of emotions erupting when they get to their peak.
An orgasm feels like having cold water, like really chilled water poured on your body after a very hot day. So imagine being in Lagos traffic for, say, 10 hours, right? And then you get into your bathroom and you have that very cold, refreshing shower. An orgasm is for me, it's a cleanse. It's detoxing your body of stress, detoxing your body of anxiety and all of those things. Sometimes it's stress relief, sometimes it's just because I want that tangy, sweet feeling you get after you climax.
An orgasm to me, it's like an out-of-body experience. You tend to shake a little bit, and then, I'm sure you know the rest that comes with that.
I think like a slice of heaven. So those brief 5-10 seconds feels like nothing earthly.